everyone. How you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're going into r/entitled people, where the people, as you would guess, are quite entitled. We have plenty of stories for you today, so I hope you enjoy. Remember to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and hit that notification bell. And without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Entitled sister would have me lose my job and house to attend her destination wedding. My younger sister had always had issues with entitlement, taking advantage of others, throwing fits and being verbally abusive, and being a miser. Not trying to dispense armchair diagnoses, but she really does check off every box of NPD. A few years ago, she announced her engagement to a nice guy who is, well, a pushover. He expressed not wanting to get married for a while, but she proposed to him, not that there's anything wrong with that, and kept pressuring him to get married. He comes from a wealthier family than us and is good with money and investments. A perfect combo for her to take advantage of and have someone bankroll her delusions. He wanted a modest local wedding so friends and family could attend. My sister decided she wanted a destination wedding outside the country. At the time, my husband and I didn't have the best paying jobs. He was working on his second degree, and we had eminent goals of buying our first home together. We rightfully declined her invitation because the trip would cost us about $4,000, which we did not have. It would have had to go on a credit card. When we RSVP'd no, she said, and her now husband wanted to pay for everything so we could attend. My husband and I were floored because, 1, that is a lot of money, and 2, my sister has never been one to offer to pay for anything. We accepted her offer with a lot of gratitude. A couple months go by, and she asks if my husband and I have booked our airplane tickets and hotels yet, and said they just keep getting more expensive the closer to the date, you know. What? I've never expected anyone to just give me anything, but my financial situation hasn't changed. We tell her as much and says, well, husband and I looked at all the prices a while ago, and it's too much money, so you guys will have to take care of it yourselves. We ignored her and went on with our goals. Months go by, and my husband and I both get better jobs and buy our house. Sister comes back and asks again if we purchased our tickets, despite repeatedly telling her no. We tell her again no, and at this point, with our new jobs, we aren't allowed to take time off yet and don't have enough paid time off anyway. When I started my job, they'd offered to honor the upcoming events if I needed time off, but I had said I didn't need anything since I already planned on not going to the wedding. We didn't have savings and took on a mortgage, so we can't tack on credit card debt too. I was so annoyed with her constant, just figure it out, tantrums, and if you really loved me, speeches. I tried to frame it differently so maybe she could understand that we would have to no show at work, likely lose our jobs, not be able to pay our mortgage, and then lose our house. I said to her, so you're okay with my husband and I losing our jobs and homes and risking homelessness so we could attend your wedding? And of course she didn't have a good answer for that. She has no concept of money because she has always manipulated people into paying for her. She has never been able to hold a job. She has no empathy for others, yet thinks she's deserving of special treatment. I don't understand where it came from because our parents raised us to be hardworking and not to expect anything from anyone. Our parents and my husband and I couldn't afford to attend. Her husband's family could and wanted to go, but she wouldn't allow it because it would be weird to have only his family there and not mine. She put up a huge paywall and then blamed us for having to elope, and then went no contact with us. It has honestly been a huge relief after a lifetime of her abuse. Entitled neighbor leaves a note on my car every single week. I live in an apartment building with no parking, so I have no choice but to park on the street. My street also has a school on it that prohibits parking on its side Monday through Friday until 6 p.m. The other side is 2-hour parking, even for permit holders. The entire area is permit parking only, which I have. So there are about total of 7 spots on my block where permit holders can leave their cars. Because of this, I can never get a spot on my block, and I park 1 block down, which is the same permit zone. This area is all houses, and each one has a driveway. I typically don't use my car every day, but never go without it for long stretches unless I'm traveling. It's also a parking violation here to leave your car in one spot longer than 72 hours, which apparently some people take very, very seriously. Recently, one of my neighbors has been leaving a note on my car every single week. This is not an exaggeration. I've gotten 4 notes in the last 4 weeks, citing the above parking code, even if my car has only been there less than 2 days. The note always says that I can't leave my car in one spot for multiple days, which technically I have 72 hours. I always ignore the note because even if I do get reported, which I'm sure I have been, someone from the city comes out the next day for an inspection and then monitors the vehicle for the next 72 hours to see if it's still there. The law is really to prevent abandoned vehicles, not for people getting upset about cars parked in front of their houses for multiple days. The hilarious part is that the note goes on to say how disrespectful it is for your neighbors to leave your cars parked in front of their houses, but constantly leaving notes on cars is totally respectful, right? This has been going on for months, but this was the first time I got 4 notes in a row, and now I'm going for the high score. I know it's a law, and I rarely leave my car parked in one spot longer than 3 days, never more than a week unless I'm traveling, in which case I leave it at the office to avoid street sweeping. Also, my car isn't old, dirty, or looks abandoned. This person truly just has nothing better to do with their life. Lady gets a ticket after people kindly warned her. This one is from a few months ago, but still gold. There's an intersection by my work that connects 2 main roads, east, west, north, south. When you come to the intersection from any direction, you won't be able to turn left. There are signs everywhere telling you, no turning left. Easy, right? No, not easy. Living in that town and going to work where I work for almost a decade, I've seen so many people turn left. People usually just honk and swear, but this time, there was a cop waiting to go through east. This lady pulls up in a nice Cadillac. Nice, she's coming from the south and goes to turn, and you guessed it, left. Now, people see the cop. They know her getting pulled over will slow down traffic as it's a 2-lane street, so panic ensues. Honking, yelling, some swearing. One guy on the street goes, "Lady, don't turn left, there's a cop! Don't turn left, don't turn left!" Like it's a freaking chant. The lady rolls down her window the rest of the way. At this point, she's mid-intersection going to turn left. The cop is shaking his head no. Bro looked like he was on lunch, and he was pissed. Like he's close enough, I could see the sandwich bag in his car. The lady yells out, and I'll never forget.
I can do whatever the frick I want to. I will do whatever I want. And if I want to turn left, I'm fucking turning left. I don't care.
And left she goes. The cop looks down. Lunchtime has been interrupted. His windows may have been closed, but you can tell when somebody yells, "Fork!" And he turns around and puts his lights on. Of course she pulled over. She can do whatever she wants. Until the cops are there, of course. Customer wanted my hat because
You're just a poor student. You shouldn't be able to afford this.
as the title suggests. A customer believed that because I was a student, I couldn't afford to buy a quality product. Background: I came to the UK as an international student after completing my bachelor's in my home country to pursue a master's here. Like any student, I had trouble finding a decent job to work my hours. But I eventually found one at a normalish store that opens 24 hours. Fast forward to 1 year, I'm almost at the end of my degree, and working at the store in a supervisor capacity, which comes with a minimal raise as well. In the past year, I've set aside some savings from each month's salary, so now decided to spend some on myself. I went and bought a cap from a well-known brand to replace the one I had bought with me as it was getting frayed from the corners and so on. This happens as I am working in the store around 9 or 9:30. The store is located next to the underground, so we see all kinds of characters in terms of dunks and kids and general shoppers. My entitled parent happens to be a woman in her late 30s who gives off pure
I'm wider, therefore better
vibes.
Excuse me, I need you to get me.
Insert item she was literally standing next to. Ma'am, it's on the shelf behind you.
I can't see it, so get me this and do be rude. And take off your cap when talking to me.
Insert noises of her mumbling something about students. Store rules permit us to wear caps as long as we're not on the till. I'm allowed to wear this cap by the manager, and also because it's a bit chilly, but that won't affect any help you need. The entitled parent looks at my hat.
Where did you get this?
I bought it.
You're a poor student. No way you bought this from your salary. A customer must have bought it, and you nicked it.
Ma'am, I don't know how to convince you, but I bought this with my own money, and I can even show you the receipt. Thank goodness for digital receipts, by the way. The entitled person says,
The receipt can be photoshopped. Give me this hat. It probably looks better on me anyway, and it's much more my class.
Yes, she said class, not style. As this conversation is happening, I'm finishing with work in the aisle and try to leave, but she insists on creating a ruckus. The sole point being that I stole that hat, I must be stealing from the store too. At which point my manager steps in and asks her to leave. She does so, but not before trying to sneak the item she wanted into her bag, resulting in a banning notice. Estranged mom's friend finds me at work and asks me to help her do menial tasks. Me and mom don't talk anymore. She was always hard to get along with, but with the past year or so, it's just been unmanageable. I'm not sure what exactly is going on. I suspect mental illness, but can't confirm it. She refuses any help, and I just had to disconnect. Mom had a friend that always asked me for favors. She'd get mom to text me while I was at work and tell, not ask, me to stop at Starbucks, which was nearly an hour out of my way, and spend my own money on buying her a coffee. She'd offer my grown ass $5 to $7 to clean her car for her. She'd ask my parents to move my grown ass to the couch and let her sleep in my bed, on the mattress I paid for when I lived at home. Time went on, and I changed jobs a lot. At one point, I worked at Dollar General, and this woman found out I worked there and just became ridiculous. The first time she came in, she stood at the door and asked me to find stuff for her. I did it exactly once, and she tried to send me back to get a different variety of the item. I just told her what aisle it was in, and basically stared at her until she went to look. She came in fairly often and would just buy random crud while asking me scores of questions about items that we carried, and I had no way of answering. She'd always pay in painfully extra ways. I never minded someone wanting to put some of it on one card and the rest on another. I know sometimes you're in a weird spot, but she did that as a matter of course. My coworkers finally started letting me go on break when she showed up, and I'd hide and chill until at least she checked out and left. That's all the backstory. Currently, I work in a non-public facing role in a school-like facility. It's a rehabilitation setting for mentally handicapped adults. That is to say, there's absolutely no reason for this woman to have swung by here. Now, we do allow and encourage visitors, but we mean visitors for clients, not staff. This woman apparently bumbled around the front desk for a bit before someone asked her what she needed. She asked where I was, and my well-meaning coworker pointed her in my direction. She walked into my room and just started jabbering at me. I think she must have been on something because it was like this endless run-on sentence with no end. Everything she said is kind of a fog, but she just rattled like so many little demands. She wanted me to help her move some furniture around. She wanted me to give her $10 to mow her very large yard. She wanted me to give my mom some money since I'm doing so well. Y'all, I drive a 20-year-old car. She mentioned something about gas money, something about needing a haircut. She works at a salon, by the way. Maybe she wanted me to pay her to cut my hair. If I had to sum it up, it was a very lot of man chores and IT. She made several other demands, some of which are harder to convey without context, and I eventually just kind of walked her to the door and kind of lied and said she couldn't be here. I then talked to my bosses and got them on board. I'm just absolutely reeling. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoy, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, leave a comment down below, and check me out the descriptions below. I got descriptions. I got Twitter. Join me there. Anyway, I will see you all next time. Hasta la pasta.